Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Expanded View, episode 4. I'm your host, Laura Canfield, along with
Kimberly Crow.
Yay, awesome. And so today we are going to be talking about the full moon, right? Because it's a full moon today. And I don't know what else. We'll see what else. So I will just share all this wonderful stuff to our page and our group. Okay, so there's one. There we go.
I just did expanded view, which I don't know which one I'm on, if I'm on the page or the group. We may have both shared it. It's okay if we did.
Yeah, exactly. I think I shared it to the page first, and I'm just going to share it to the group quickly, and then we're going to get started. All right, I think. So here we go. So yes, today is a full moon, and it is an full moon in Aquarius, right?
Yes, it's because we're in a Leo full moon in Aquarius is what this one is today.
And it's also called a sturgeon moon, which, it means that there's an abundance of sturgeon fish, actually. So that's a good sign. Abundance of any sort is always a good sign, right?
Yeah, that's right. It is.
Let me just fix. Okay, here we go. So what should, you're the expert on moons, working with the moons, et cetera, the moon phases, et cetera, Kimberly. So what should people be doing on the full moon?
Okay, so the full moon, that's the accumulation of what we started on the new moon. And so the new moon that started this cycle was I think it was a Leo Cancer moon. So so that was about nurturing and also Leo is about stepping out onto the stage and shining your light. So the parts that wanted been nurtured in this last month might have really been showing themselves to you, what's within inside of you. And so we went through that whole cycle, and now we're at the full moon, which is the accumulation of whatever the seeds that we planted on that new moon. And then also it's a time of harvest, but it's also what you get rid of.
Yeah.
It's like what didn't work and where is that at and what is time to let that part go. So with it being in this Aquarian energy, that's releasing, and then we're stepping into the new phase, after these, like you're in that full moon energy for like 4 days, the 4 days before and the 4 days after, and then that sets it again, and then we start again. So the Aquarian it's the humanitarian, and so there may be a lot of stuff coming up with that. With how you see humanity and what's going on in humanity and what your vision is for humanity. Okay. And so you can utilize that energy because Aquarian, it's also an air sign. And so air can bring you clarity of mind. So you can take that energy, speak to the energy, ask to work with it, to bring you clarity of mind, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now in humanity, and Mars is in Aries right now, and it has been, and it's going to be, and that can be a lot of warrior and anger energy, and so we're seeing that whole on the big view of what's happening all over the world. So what you can do with that during this time period, when you get pissed off over whatever it is, then take that energy, because energy is just energy. Yeah. We're the ones that label it with anger, pissed off, all
good
of these
or
things.
Bad. Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's just energy. It's fire energy. That's fire energy. So we've got air energy and fire energy right now. Okay. So take it and utilize it. And talk to, if you talk to the pissed off, so what is it that you want me to know today? What is it within inside of me that this is really about? Because it's within us, and something outside of us might have been what appeared to be the trigger, but what is the dialogue internally? And use the energy to bust through something, because there's a lot of fire air energy in this cycle this time. And so it's like, and Leo is a fire sign too.
Yeah.
So we've got, you know, a lot of that going on. So instead of blowing it out, you know, all over the world, it's like take it in and utilize it for your own fire. Like bring that ball of energy in and burn through what's not serving you anymore, and then take it into action. You know,
Absolutely.
instead of sitting and being pissed off about it and getting on Facebook and thinking anybody cares about what you're blasting about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like take that energy inside and ask how you can utilize that the best for yourself, and blow off, you know, blow that out, come out of the ashes. And then what's the most I'm hearing the word correct, but it's like, you know, beneficial energy, how you can utilize that energy to the highest power for yourself, because
Absolutely.
that's all we can do it for, you
Yeah,
know.
and that's the thing. It's like, you know, using the energy from this time to clear what's no longer working, to let go of what's no longer working, but also to get that clarity of, okay, what is it that I actually want? You know, so this isn't working. So what is it that I, you know, actually want, right? So it is always
Yes,
about coming back to who you
yes.
are and what you desire.
Right. That's exactly what this cycle is about right now, to utilize it for in that way. What is it that I really want? What is it outside of me that I'm trying to get this from outside of me when it's really inside? And then how do I take that power and bring that to me?
Yeah, because
So yeah, it's exactly that.
it's really a generative type of energy, right? So you're going to be generating your life with this energy. You're generating your new creations, your new, you know, your new future. Everything is always a new future. You're generating that new future based on going within and saying, okay, well, this doesn't quite work. I'm not feeling this at all. So what does work, you know? And really being honest with yourself and being truthful to yourself about what works and what doesn't, and what do you really require. And I think a lot of people right now are having, you know, energies coming up about, you know, for change, you know, like, you know, it's a time
Change.
of great change, right?
Right. And
Changing things up.
yeah. And that's being totally supported by, you know, this cosmic rays, all of that, the Aquarian energy, the Leo energy, the Mars, the, you know, it's cosmic rays that you can utilize. And it's obvious, you know, humanity is screaming out for change because we dreamed this in at such a big level. It's
And
like,
that's,
it's
yeah, and that's the
huge.
thing, is like, you know, be empowered with this energy, right? Inspire yourself and empower yourself to create the change that you're looking for, that you would like, instead of wallowing in, oh my god, it's not working, or oh my god, nothing is working, or whatever, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. That energy doesn't get you anywhere. Okay.
That's when you utilize the energy, take it and, you know, like speak to the energy. You're speaking to yourself,
Of
but
course.
it's like it's drawing the vibration to you to push that out. So it is that energy of how, okay, so if it's something that didn't work, or you're obviously seeing something that you perceive in the world that's not working, you know, whether it's an outer reflection or inner reflection, then speak to the energy and say, what would work?
Mm-hmm.
You can use that Aquarian the clarity with that, and whisper into it, okay, so instead of like blowing up because this isn't working and, you know, just huffing off with it, then whoops, I got wild there. That wasn't working.
So yeah, so ask what
Then you
would work.
say, what would work?
Ask,
And
but
then
don't.
breathe. Yeah,
Exactly.
breathe and
Take a
wait in the
pause.
silence.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't go into your head and try to figure out, okay, what would work. No, ask the question, breathe, expand out, be present in that moment, and then wait. I'm not a very patient person, as everybody knows, so I'm not going to wait long, but just wait for a few minutes just to see what comes to you, right? And it might come
Yes.
to you right away, or it might come to you later, right? But ask
Yeah,
the
go take a
question.
shower. It's like use the water. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
go out and walk, do something totally mindless, you know, and
Yeah.
then like, wow, it'll drop in. What did I do yesterday? There was something, and then I was like, because there was too much energy going on for me, and I was starting to just, you know, it was starting to get jittery. I had so much coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I just walked outside and took the trash out, you know, like something simple like that. It was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I noticed like the bathroom trash could be, and so I just walked to my dumpster, and coming back in, it was like, oh, you know, and like I knew, it's like I knew the answer to whatever it was. And then I came in and put it into, I applied it immediately.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
that's
so use
about
the
not
energy for
focusing
that.
on it, right? Not focusing on it, but letting it come in its own way in space. But it can't come in if you're, you know, your attention is right on it and you're trying to control it, right? So yeah, raise your vibration, do something different, walk around, take a shower, go for a swim, play with your puppy, like do something different. And usually that is when the inspiration usually comes in spontaneously, but you've asked the question, that's why. So be willing to receive. Then once you ask, be willing to receive.
And you also can actually use the energy, because that, like, being willing to receive, and then, you know, what would work. And you could also use it like, okay, what we talked about, that what is it time to lay down, you know, it's like with this fire energy and the way, the force that it has with it, I mean, you can actually use the vibration. Okay, so what do I say F you to? You know, you can use it like that, take that power of that and like bring it into your body and let it show you. And then it's like it can transmute it, you know, it's like, okay. And then it's like, wow, that's all I had to do. And then it's kind of like, well, yeah, because sometimes I think when we try something and then it doesn't work, then sometimes we hold on to it trying to make it work, when there's something else out there that you can just shift it a little and it'll turn it into a whole different picture for you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And sometimes that's what it requires, just a little bit of a tweak, a little bit of a change, a little sidestep, and your whole energy changes, right? And when your whole energy changes, everything around you starts to change, because everything is energy, right? You get that, right? Everything is energy. So once you start to raise your vibration, have a little more fun, not be stressed out, not focus on one thing only, you know, then the energy starts to move again. It's about flow, right? The energy needs to flow. You need to have movement. And so that means getting out of your head, right? Now, and as I've said to all my clients, get out of your head, focus on the bottom of your feet, focus on your heart space, focus anywhere, but you know, get out of your head. And that's when, you know, you'll get the awareness. That's when you'll get that inspiration, right?
Yeah, and that Aquarian energy is a very mental energy. So that can be like right now, you could be really in your head right now, spinning a lot of plates, because it can come in that way. But it also can be the energy of the simplest way to do it. Like Gemini is a air sign too, and it's like a lot of energy and a lot of information coming in, where Aquarian energy is like seeing the big picture. You know, so you may have insight to like the big picture and where you want to be at by the end of this year, by the end of the 6 months of what, you know, of the energy that we're in right now. And you may get the big vision, and then the smaller steps will come to you. Does that make sense?
So maybe that's what people should be asking right now, is like, okay, what do I want to see happen, come to fruition, take place by the end of this year?
Yeah.
Right?
The end of the cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the end of this year, where do you want to be in your life? Like, what do you want to experience? You know, like we all have certain goals or plans or, you know, desires, right? So what is it that you would like to have broader picture by the end of this year? We're now in August. If you can believe that, you know,
I
August.
know.
It's
like
oh
July really went by in a blink of an eye. It was like, it went by so fast.
Yeah. For me, June and July went like so quickly. So now it's like, oh my goodness, there's like 5 months left of this year.
We're just thinking that, you know, the whole quantum field of humanity's consciousness is wishing this time period away. So it seems like it's moving really fast.
Yeah. So start looking at your life, right? And this is a great time to, you know, when you're looking at your life right now, especially, you know, during this full moon period, look at your life, look at what's not working, and look at what is working that you would like to focus more on. So I honestly, that's what I would put my focus on, is what is working that you can have more of, right? And the stuff that's not working.
The gratitude energy is going to bring that to you. And if you focus on it instead of the broken pieces, because I've been noticing that with people, about how they want to go back to what's broken, you know, and anytime you hear yourself saying, yeah, but, then you're going back to the broken pieces.
Exactly. So don't focus on the broken pieces, but be willing to let them go. Be willing to let the broken stuff move out of your life and focus on the stuff that is working well, working great, that you enjoy, that's fun for you, you know, that brings you joy. Focus more on that with gratitude, like Kimberly was saying, and then more of that will show up. And what when that happens is that, you know, also like gratitude raises your vibration, right? So as you raise your vibration, that's when you start to get new inspiration, new thoughts, new feelings, new everything, and you start to magnetize to you what that is that you truly would like, not what you don't want, but what you truly would like, that you know you're already grateful for. So
Right.
like, but don't come from a place of lack and scarcity or fear, but come from a place of love, come from a place of ease, come from a place of joy, right?
I'm going to share a little manifestation that I've noticed that happened here at the end of this full moon cycle for me. And so I walked outside. I had a lot of calls today, and I'm working on like a huge project with my membership and getting all the pieces in order. And I hit a wall because some things that weren't working. And so I was like, go outside. I mean, this was early this morning. So I meditated to the sun. You know, for a second, the sun was coming up. You know, it was early, like 7 o'clock. And I pulled the energy in, and I did that. And then I just kind of walked around my yard, and my parsley, well, I had this plan, you know, at one time that, okay, I'm going to do sustainability in the yard during this, you know, worldwide thing. Well, all I've done is feed all of the animals and the insects around. So I'm walking by, and I put a picture on my personal Facebook page. My parsley, it was full of caterpillars, which I had to look it up to see. I put it on there, and a lot of people answered me. And it is swallowtail butterflies, which they're kind of the opposite of a monarch, the opposite color. They're the black ones that have the long tails on them, you know, then they have the really bright colors. It is full of them. This is one little parsley plant probably has about 10. So I put on there, hey, does anybody know who these fellers are before, you know, I don't want to destroy them, you know, if they're butterflies to be, if they're like waiting for transformation and they're going to be butterflies to be. And so a lot, you know, some people were they were joyous with it. And then there were some like that were looking at it like it was a problem and how I needed to eradicate this problem and what, you know, they were trying to give me solutions of how to get rid of them. And I got tickled because you know what? I planted 4 butterfly bushes in my yard this year because I wanted butterflies.
There you go.
And I was like, I did that. I probably planted them about the beginning of this new moon cycle. And I wanted butterflies in my yard. I put butterfly bushes out there, and now I'm feeding this whole crop of butterflies. And so I looked up what they like to eat, and they love parsley. So there'll be no tabbouleh for me. It's like, there goes my tabbouleh. It's like, I'll just have to go buy tabbouleh. And the other thing they like is celery. And I have been taking the ends of the celery. You know, you can take that end that you don't eat and grow new celery from that. So I have been doing that this year. So I've got some of that started. So I moved when I found out what they like to eat, I moved the celery over beside the parsley so they can have a whole buffet. So sometimes it's not a problem at all. You know, it's like what I desired to have the butterflies. And
so it's a contribution to you. It's something you asked for, you know?
Exactly. And so that's what I'm telling, that simple little story of how it works in the world, because when it comes to us in that way, then it's like, well, what was it that we asked for? You know, if you sit and think about it, and it's like, this is not a problem. This is like, I asked for butterflies.
And it doesn't always show up the way you think it's going to. So you expected it to be butterflies, but it's like, it's caterpillars who are going to turn into butterflies. But they're already there.
I expected them to be all over. I expected the butterflies to come and be all over the butterfly bushes, you know, and they would go out and pollinate other stuff. But, you know, and what I got
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole
it's to be.
thing, and I'm going to get to watch the whole transformation happen.
Yeah.
It's like, now I want to build a little butterfly house for them so the birds won't eat them. You know,
Ah,
I thought, who's their predator? I've got a lot of birds out there, and it's like, maybe I can put a little thing for them so they'll be protected when they're in their cocoons.
there you
So
go.
yeah,
Who
that
knew that Kimberly was going to become a butterfly keeper or a guardian of the butterflies?
I know, guardian of the, oh, I like that, guardian
Mm.
of the butterflies.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my granddaughter to see them. I mean, I like text my daughter and I was like, oh, well, so much with sustainability. I'll have to eat the dandelions out of the yard. It's like they come up
Fun.
on their own.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have butterflies instead.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, you didn't know where it was going to go when you first planted the parsley. You had no idea. But, you know, you had
I
already
was thinking
said,
about tabbouleh.
yeah, exactly. But you had already said you wanted butterflies. So the universe is, you know, working with you so that you can have butterflies by bringing forward these caterpillars who are going to turn into butterflies. And now you're thinking about, okay, what else can I do to support these butterflies? Because we all know butterflies are a symbol of transformation and change.
Exactly.
Right?
There was, yeah, I counted them and I counted 11 this morning. So I don't know if there's more of them than that, because there could be some little ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So are you ready for transformation
cool.
and change? It may not look the way you think it's going to look, but are you willing to allow it? So Kimberly's allowing the caterpillars, you know, the caterpillars that are going to be butterflies, in her space, in her energy, in her home. You know, land is still home, right? So
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
willing to have it that way, because it's like, okay, what else is possible? You know, it's like, all right, I wasn't thinking this, but it's like, sure, why not?
They're out there in the peace garden that I created, you know, with the Kuan Yin and all the stuff that and I had left. The parsley is sitting there on the corner of it. So it's beside the rosemary, and that's where they're at. They're in the peace garden. All the little, yeah. And I did all that stuff around the same time.
And so that also adds and raises the vibration of your peace garden as well.
Oh, I know.
Right?
Yes. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yes, I had to share that. And
yeah,
so
no,
the joy
absolutely.
of that and the excitement of that energy, when I went out there and saw that, you know, like I was walking around, and those simple pleasures in life can bring in the energy that can expand for you, and you can utilize that, you know, in the joy, that high vibration of the joy that brought to me, you know, that's that energy
the joy and the gratitude, right?
Yes.
And that is what starts to change your reality. That joy, that gratitude, that openness to something different and new, right?
Right.
Getting out of the energy of control and force was like, okay, cool, what is this, right? Asking questions and being willing to support even, you know, life, in this case, butterfly life.
Yeah, butterfly life. Yeah.
And becoming a guardian of the butterflies.
Right. Some person, like in their sweet, well-meaning, you know, we're like, oh, you need to capture them and go put them in the woods so then they can grow there. And I'm like,
they
I
can
would
grow
probably
here. They can be
kill
safe
them
here.
in the doing of all of that. You know, it's like trying to transport them and put them somewhere else. I guess I could have taken. There is a park here that has a butterfly house. I guess I could go donate them to the butterfly house, but
but you know what? If it ain't broke, why fix it, right? So why change something that doesn't need to be changed? Instead, just be open to it, allow it, let it unravel, let it unfold, however it does, and see it as a gift and as a blessing of, you know, being able to contribute to life in this way, to transformation
to the
and
whole
change in
life
this
force
way.
energy. And it's like they obviously wanted to be here and they're very happy to be here. It's like, it's kind of interesting. You know, my mind kind of went into the whole thing of where do they come from? Where does the caterpillar come from? And how did it ever get here? And how did it know I had parsley in my yard?
I wonder.
I know. And they have that whole innate knowing in them, they know their God. They know, you know, they're know where they're supposed to go and what their next step is, and they'll be guided to that. So then they'll transform into the butterfly.
So,
So
how about if we can be the butterfly now? We can be the transformation that we are requiring for ourselves, for our lives, and for humanity. We can be the change. I know that's famous saying, be the change you want to see in the world, but be the change that you require for yourself. Be the change that humanity requires of you, right? So we don't have to go back to caterpillar stage. We've been there. We've done that. But now it's like, be the butterfly. You've all transformed in some way. Acknowledge that, recognize that, appreciate that. Be grateful for the transformation and change, right? Be grateful for it. And ask, okay, what else is possible now? What else would I like to create? What else would be fun for me? What would it take to have, the job of my dreams where I can use my skills and talents and abilities, Jackie? I'm talking specifically to Jackie. What else would it take for me to share my voice and to really be me? I'm talking about to some of my clients who are, have these types of questions.
I know, because I've been hearing those broken dreams for people right now, that it's really coming up. And I'm sure that some of that noticing, I'm going to call that noticing within their self, their own sacred witness of that, when they're speaking it, it's a part that's crying out, that wants to dream again. And that consciousness is very heavy in humanity's psyche right now. It's like all these systems are breaking. People are watching this. They're realizing, what have I been working for? Nothing secure. I mean, all that's out there.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to notice that. So now it's where, how do you take that within yourself and empower yourself and move into those, places that you do. Somebody said something the other day, and it's like, oh, I hadn't really looked at it that way, where people are like in kind of a fear of being unemployed, or, where they're going to go with this. And this person said, I'm self-employed. When you're self-employed, you're unemployed every day. And I was like, that's true. We stepped in that a long time ago, when I like let loose of all of those things and stepped into my own magic, into my own power, and to create this. It's like, you don't even think about all of that fear. You're not running from any of that anymore. And so some of those things that people think are security, it's like there's a part that you're always out in front of it. You're kind of like out there running from it all of the time, of what you think is your own security. And it's like, when you just stop, drop it all, then you can come into what the truth is of what you really came here to be. I'm not telling everybody to quit their job, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. But
what that is, what's the dream? What is it that they're here to create?
Yeah. And you can still do that while you are doing your job. You can still live, from your heart. You can still live it with passion, with purpose. You can still do wonderful things, and your job can be the thing that supports you in doing that, right? So your
supports other people. You may see the problem that there is, and have the solution for other people. Before, when we went through like 2008, when we went through stuff, there were all kinds of companies that were born then that are like, I think doTERRA was then, like there's several, there's like Uber, there was a whole big bunch of stuff that are, that are successful, huge companies now. Yeah. That somewhere in that, somebody had an idea, and it was put, I think even Facebook and things that we didn't even have then that we have now, that's an everyday thing, didn't even exist then.
That's true. Oh, absolutely.
I think that's one of them. There was like several of the big players now that came during that, somewhere that process was there, and the energy came in for new ways for people. And how to serve.
And now it's that time again.
From that.
Right now, it's that same energy is happening now again. So it's a great time to really look at, how can I serve?
Connect to the solutions, not the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. And that's what it's about. It's about that solution energy, looking at what is possible for all of us, for humanity, so that we have more ease in our lives, so we have more joy, so we have more happiness and bliss, right? So what can you do or be different to bring different solutions to humanity, to the planet? Something
Right.
something to think about, right?
Yeah.
Something to think
Yeah.
about.
That something within yourself that has a need, and you see the need, and that this, this is not working in the most practical or best or high solution that it can be. Then when you ask for that insight, then it's like, that's where all all inventions, where all new ideas come from, is from that.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a creative time, right? So it's not just about business, but it's about your life. But it's a creative time
For your
to
life.
do something different for your life, in your
Yeah,
life,
for your life.
with your
Right.
life, right?
Right.
So really look at it in that way. And creative doesn't mean art and painting or music or writing. It means being, really, right? Being and doing something that works for you. So it's really key to really look at what works for you. Because, a lot of you I know are going to be like saying things like, well, I've tried this all my life, or for the past so long, it hasn't worked. Well, maybe something else is time for something else now. Are
Right.
you willing to look at something else? Are you willing to be something else? Are you willing to choose something else?
Yeah, I just got, when you said that, when you said being creative, what I heard was being creative is using life force energy to its highest potential, or, for just as its potential, that's what being creative is. When you think about that, I mean, creation, birth, I mean, that's what that is.
Yep.
It's like, it's life force energy. And then from that, another creation comes.
And it's about using that life force energy in a way that supports and that enhances your life, supports, enhances, empowers your life and the life of humanity, like, people on the planet, etc. Right? So
yeah, if it's depleting you, then you're not in alignment with creativity if it's depleting you.
yeah, so something that's creative is going to light you up, going to juice you up, even, give you more juice, give you more energy, right? And, a lot of times that happens when, we're doing something and we've totally lost track of time. It's like, oh my God, I could do this forever, right? That's when you're in the flow. That's when that energy is flowing through you, that creative energy is flowing through you. And, that's when you're utilizing it to your highest potential in that moment. Right? More is, of course, possible, but in that moment, right?
Right. Yeah. There is no time, and you just move into that. I do that when I'm painting. Sometimes it's like, I can go into that, and I've had times where it's been 3 days later and it's like, I'm still painting. And then if it starts to feel mental or heavy to me, I walk away from it, because then, I've started getting my critical, when that inner critical piece has, and I'm working on one little eyelash over and over and over, then it's like I've stepped into being being critical, and I feel the difference
creative.
in that. Yeah, then you're not creative anymore, because I think that seems like I read that one time, the receptor sites of the brain are the same ones that do that. So if the energy is being utilized in that, then it does block like
Right.
the creativity piece that will come in.
Yeah,
so if you
totally
hear that negative talk with yourself, then ask it what it really wants. It's like dialogue with it. It's like, what's its need? And you may get some insight from it, because it's some aspect of Shada that is wanting to be heard. So dialogue with it.
It's showing up for a reason. It's not just there, it's not just there. It's showing up for a reason. It's something for you to acknowledge, something for you to be aware of, something for you to question, not judge, right? It's not about judgment, and it's not just about getting rid of it, but really looking at it, right? Acknowledging it. It's like, okay, there's something here. What is this, right? And then what can I do with it, right? Can I change it? Is it even mine? Right? Sometimes that too. That's a big one. Is
It
it
may
even
not
mine?
be. Right, exactly.
Yeah, we're also sensitive and empathic that we're tapping into other people's energies all the time. Not just other people, other things, energies too, all the time. So you really have to be careful when you have a thought that comes up to you that's disruptive, we'll say, you should really ask, is this even mine? It may not be, right?
Right.
So
And going back to all of this chaos that's happening right now, if you do participate, if you're on it, if you're in it, do yourself a favor, disconnect from it and walk away. When you're come off of it, disconnect from it, because how much of it is yours and how much of that chaos in humanity has globbed onto you. You know, it's
yeah.
like, clear, if you go in to be nosy to find out what's happening, then clear it off afterwards, or you're going to be processing the mass unconsciousness.
And some of you, to be honest, to be fair, have chosen to do that, right?
Yeah,
Some
it's
of you
part
have
of
chosen to do that.
and it's part of the initiation process sometimes. You know, it's part of our learning, like the evolution of soul. And then you get your ahas, and then you move on to the other thing. But I don't think any of us are really here to totally be the martyr.
Right.
But it could be insight for a little while. You know, it's like, and then it is a part of the evolutionary cycle then to move through all of it. And not everybody comes in with that archetypal imprint to start with.
Okay, so let's come back around to full moon. What should we do? Should we do a ritual? Should we, how do we move forward now with this full moon?
I set up a new grid. It's behind me. I don't think you all can see it. It's too low on that table. I set up a grid. It's like I've got a crystal grid. I'll take a picture and put it on the Facebook group. So I did a grid, and it's for my this money is magic energy that's coming in and what I'm creating and in my own platforms. So I'm anchoring that in. So I set a crystal grid up with it, and I got the energy to do that. And then I started layering it, like I did sacred geometry. And then I've been doing layers of that. So I'm utilizing the energy in that way. And
so speaking of grids, really quickly, so on Thursday I had a Sri Lakshmi call, right? Activating and embodying Sri Lakshmi on Thursday. And so then on Friday, for the people who participated in the call, I created a manifestation prosperity grid that is running now for 40 days. So it's, I started on Friday, and I'm doing the chanting every day for Lakshmi and Ganesh, and all sorts of prayers for everybody that was part of the call. And so it's so funny that you're doing a grid. I'm doing a crystal grid as well. Right. Mine's going to run for 40 days. But it's like, they're so potent and so powerful, right? And so, during this time, especially, even, it's also about letting go of those fears and doubts and insecurities, and instead coming back into your power, coming back into the power of who you are truly, right? And manifesting and creating with that.
Can you see the purple in it? I don't know if it's showing up on that at all. Just kind of looks gray. This is fluorite in its matrix. It's still in the limestone. So it's got I don't know, can you see the purple stripes in it?
A little bit.
Yeah. So it brings clarity of mind. So I've got it all anchored in this. And then this is a fodden, which has the thread in it. See the thread? And so the fodden, when you use it, it connects the inner self to the higher self. So I've got this setting on the grid with this up against it. It's like it's support for it. Nice. That big bolter is bringing the support in. And so I do different things like that. And it's got a lotus in the center with the golden calcite, which is representing the new consciousness of Earth. Yeah. Not Earth herself. She has it. It's like of what wants to be birthed here. So I use different things like that in with it too when I'm, doing. And then I sprayed everything down before I started with I don't know, something I made. And then I also used Florida water. I'm trying to remember because it was in a bottle, and I used the different essential oils and put different stuff in it.
Yeah, I love Florida water. I have some right here on my desk that I use sometimes for.
Yeah, I felt like everything needed to be cleansed, and then I started adding to it.
Yeah.
And so I'll do those pictures, because I took pictures of it as I did the layers.
Beautiful.
So it's all got intention in it when I'm doing that. You know, it's like there is setting the intention makes it much more powerful than just throwing a grid out. It's like that it's an intentional thing that you're doing each layer. And when I set the energy of that, it starts working with me and it becomes a live being. And then it lets me know what the next piece is to bring in for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, aren't you that way with it? Just like you just know. It's like, you know, like, okay, now I need to add this stone. And then sometimes I know it needs to settle in, and then I'll add the next thing, and then it may change tomorrow, you know, more layers, or I may take something off that's finished doing whatever it's doing.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes I will add supplementary things to it, you know, so like, you know, candles, lotus flowers, rose petals, whatever it happens to be, you know.
Yeah, so I've got this like blue lotus with this golden calcite ball sitting in the center.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. So yeah, so that's going well. And that's going to go for 40 days for all the people who were on my call on Thursday. But this week, let's see, what do I have going on? My membership call for August starts today. Call 1 is today in like 15 minutes. And then later this week, we have Omaji Andaria on the show, on the Laura Canfield show, Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Marlena Johnson and Joy Baker this week on the show. And then on Friday, just a reminder to everybody, Grace's class, the light language class, begins on Friday. So if you haven't signed up or registered yet, please do so that we can, I'm getting excited. Just 4 weeks of light language classes, so that'll be fun. Yay. Looking forward to that. That's about, I think that's all I have going on this week. What have you got going on this week?
I'm sorry, I've got that call coming up on 8/8, and so that I've been launching that, and I'm setting up my whole membership, and so it has like automation things that are going out, like how to work with the crystal grid, things like that. Awesome. So I'm adding all of that into everything. And then, so they get emails that tell them what the next step is, and then how to utilize that. And then the process that we'll be doing with that, and the creator that I'm creating with it, and where it's going to go. But awesome. Really amping up all of everything in membership. I mean, that's my focus right now, is like you, I mean, you know, it's like when you move through these processes and you move from, and not everybody does, but some of us have the assignment of moving from one-on-one service to service to many. And so it's like, I know that, and that's the assignment now. You know, it's like I did one-on-one for many years. That gives you, and well, you know, when I'm on your thing, we're doing service to many. It's like that I can see the whole group at once, and where those matrices are. So it's like, okay, step into the power of that. That's where this vehicle now can be used the most for humanity, is the service to many. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And and that's that is what is required now. I think more than ever is the service to many, because more people require assistance and help and support. Right.
Right. And if we can anchor in that and be the support and the service to many, then the assignment of the ones that it's time to step into the one-on-one service, they have the support. You know, it helps everybody move into those places.
My baby's home. He was gone for less than 24 hours, but he's home now. So he just walked in the door. Oh, I love you too, baby. He's just kissing my feet.
He's like, oh, he's so happy to see you.
Yes, yes. Awesome. I know. Awesome. So there's always so much going on. So we're going to start to share a bit more in the group and on the page, you know, on a regular basis, daily, every other day kind of thing. And at the same time, we're going to start to have, maybe next week or the week after, guests with us as well, right? So we're really looking forward to having some guests join us, either next week or the week after. So that'll be so much more much more expansive and, you know, more of an expanded view, you know, 3 points of view instead of just 2. So that'll be exciting as well. So looking forward to that. Right? Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so everyone have a great day. Be gentle with yourself. You know, drink water, nurture yourself, listen to your body. What do you require? Let go, release. But before you let go and release, always look at what is coming up for you. And is it yours? And acknowledge it and say, okay, yeah, this is not working for me. All right, what can I be or do different to change this now? Right? So choose you. Always choose you. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always.
Thank you for being the gift to humanity. I'll send pictures of the caterpillars and the butterflies as they go through their transformation.
Yes, we want to know.
Right.
Awesome. Guardian of the butterflies, you are. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Bye.
All right, everyone. Bye for now.